Good evening. Am I audible?
Good evening, Namita. Yes, you are audible.
Thank you.
Good evening, Shobna this side. Audio check. Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly audible.
Thank you.
Good evening, all.
Hello, good evening.
Aye.
Hi everyone, a very good morning to each one of you.
Hello.
Hi, good evening everyone.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good
all.
evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So I hope you all are well aware about me. So I work with Santosh as an operations manager in MOS. So today's session is all about your CISM doubt clearing. So we have with us Nitin, Shobna, Suhani, and Hasim, who will be there with you all. And this is like an open platform for all of you to ask whatever queries, whatever doubts you have relevant to CISM. You can ask them. They will also share their experience, their tips, how they prepared for CISM. And you can definitely feel free to ask whatever the questions you also have. And yeah, so we can just start with it. Nitin, if you want to proceed ahead, Nitin, Suhani, Hasim, whosoever, Shobna, please start sharing your experience, how you started preparing for CISM, and whatever the doubts people would have, they can just start, questioning it, and then we can take it ahead.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, 𝗂𝗂𝗃. A very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm really happy to be here to share my experience with all of you. So I have prepared my points, and my focus is more on how to prepare rather than what questions are coming and technicality of the exam. So but to start with, a very, very important question, we all should note down is, why did the firewall go to therapy healing? And the answer is that it could not handle all the incoming threats. So idea of sharing this particular question is to make it light. So this is what we need to do for our preparation as well as for exam So nothing serious, nothing should be too serious, as Santosh says, and it should be all fun. It should be all in good spirits. So that is how we need to prepare. So I would like to share, how I prepared, and you may stop me in between, or you can have your questions later as well. So for the very first thing which is required is one of the major do is to book the exam. That is the most important aspect of clearing CISM. During the training, it was told multiple times by Santosh, and when I booked the exam, I actually found and I actually understood the importance of booking the exam, because once you book the exam, you have the dates you have the target to follow, you have your North Star. Without that, it's all haywire. So the very important thing is book the exam. So I booked the exam, and I had this calendar with me, wherein I was tracking each day, how many days are left, how many days have passed. So initially I booked the exam for 25th, but then for some reason it overshoot, and I added some more dates to it. And finally I signed, after clearing it, conquered the beast. So book the exam, have the calendar, track it manually, daily. It's very, very important. And there is no need to say that Santosh training is the most important resource you can have. Whether you go ahead and learn from the book, you read the manual, or any other resource, but the very must thing to have is Santosh's training. Another point number 3, which is very, very important part of preparing, and which is very underrated, is to have your own handwritten notes. I cannot emphasize enough on this point, that how important these points are. We can have notes from various resources. We can have flashcards from various resources. A lot of flashcards are available online. You will get a lot of notes from Santosh as well. It is absolutely important to have your own notes, because once you will go back to understand those topics, when you will see your own handwriting, your mind will be able to connect very well with it, and you will be able to understand faster with that. So very important for understanding the concepts and then revision as well, to have your own notes. The 4th point is practice questions. I practice questions like anything, and so after every chapter, Santosh gave us the questions. So we practice them. And apart from all this, Santosh has a beautiful set of questions, which are very, very important questions. And I got that as well, and I prepared that as well. Now, there is one caution I would like to highlight here, which Santosh had been highlighting, and being a curious person, I didn't listen to him. But I understood while preparing for it that do not refer to the questions outside of what Santosh is providing. His training, his course material, and his questions are absolutely bang on, absolutely perfect. And once I tried going outside the scope, outside the manual questions and the questions given by him, I started getting different answers, and my concept started shaking. And after a couple of days, bunch of days, I understood that why Santosh mentioned that you should not go out of your, should not go to other resources. I tried couple of question banks, and I tried even ChatGPT for questions. I created an agent on ChatGPT and tried for questions, but the answers which I was getting were absolutely different than what I understood, what I learned in the course, and even through the manual as well. So very important, please do not go to any other question bank. This is what I followed. That is why I'm sharing with you. And so the cycle was to go through the videos, attempt the questions of each chapter, and then again go through the videos, understand the concepts, refer to your handwritten notes, very, very important. Again, practice questions. So this was the modus operandi which I had while preparing, which helped me a lot, right? And I also would like to highlight the mistakes which I did, which I really hope that no one does. And I was warned about some of them, but still, we being curious people, and I went ahead and did those mistakes. So the first mistake was not booking the exam in the first go. I took the training and I booked my exam after 5 months. And I would say out of those 5 months, I actually wasted my 3 months thinking that I'm preparing. But since there was no North Star, there was no target on my mind, I did not prepare it well. But the moment I booked the exam, everything got aligned. I had the North Star, I had the target date, I had to prepare for it. And, I did. So this was one mistake. Second mistake, I've already shared with you guys, that attempting questions from other resources. You always think that, I've prepared well, I've attempted all the questions in the manual, I've attempted all the questions given by my faculty as well. What is the harm of going ahead and doing some more questions, maybe 100 questions more, and it will give me more clarity, I'll be able to understand. But actually, when you attempt those questions, you get those answers, it all gets confusing. So that is my question number 2, but mistake number 2. But fortunately, I did not carry it on. I understood, I recalled what I was taught, and I immediately stopped it and went back to my original method. Another mistake which I did, and I would like to suggest all of you to avoid, is not attempting all the questions during the training. So every chapter, once you go through it, you will be, if you're attending a weekend session, you will have a 1 week or 5 days time, and you need to finish all those questions of that particular chapter within that time. But to start with, I did, but then because of the various loads of office and all that, I kept it for the last. But the best policy, the best way forward is listen to the audio, attend your class, revise the concept, attempt the questions. That is the best way to go ahead with that. Now, technicality, I'm sure there are many people who can describe much more better than me, and you have the entire team of Santosh, and you have so many technical people around, they can mention. I just wanted to explain what is CISM, why it is important, what it teaches us. So it says CISM explains how to think like a manager. I'm sure you all would have heard about this line, how to think like a manager. As a CISM, you need to think like a manager. But what is it all about? So I would like to give two examples quickly. One is an army general. When a war goes on, I'm giving this example because war is already going on in some part of the world. When the war goes on, the army general doesn't go and hold the guns and start shooting the enemies. He understands the system and he understands what to move when to win. The same role is of a person who is CISM certified. He understands the system of cybersecurity. He understands the governance part. He understands the risk. He knows how to calculate risk. He understands the compliance. So he has the kind of complete vision and roadmap of what is moving and how it is moving. And then he is able to guide his peers and maybe subordinates or his soldiers well to make sure that everything goes smooth. Or if it doesn't, we have the backup plan, right? Another example is, most of us are fan of cricket. So the person who is certified CISM, he is a cricket captain. He's like a cricket captain, because a captain cannot go and do all the things, but he understands the game well. He reads the game very well. So my perspective as a cybersecurity professional has drastically changed after the certification. It gives you a lot of visibility into what is happening in governance. We all have heard about risk and we all understand, okay, we need to manage risk, but it gives you those tools and formulas and understanding which helps you, which is helping me in my practical life. So CISM is about the knowledge, but it is also about knowing the concepts. But exam is about knowing the system, right? Like audits. Once we do the audits, we understand that we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So CISM gives you that power, that understanding of how you should approach cybersecurity as a professional. So again, to end right now, my points with you, I just like to highlight what I've written here is that watch the videos, attempt questions, make handwritten notes, go to question bank, go back to videos, refer your notes, and do a lot of questions. This was the formula I did. And some of the very important things I would like to mention here, guys, to achieve this beast, there has to be a focus. Delete your Insta, delete your Facebook, delete your social media, forget about news, forget about social parties for some time. Focus on this, and with Santosh's training, I'm sure you will be able to pass through. I just like to mention one more thing, that though it was mentioned we can go through the manual ones, but I myself, I did not read manual at all. I was totally dependent on Santosh's training. That is it from my side. If there is any question, I'm happy to answer wherever I can about the preparation, especially.
Nitin, may I ask a question?
Yeah, please, Namita.
Nitin, why did you took 5 months to give the exam? Some particular reason?
I actually started my training in October 2024, and then I thought that I'll give exam, say, by November or December. That was the idea I had in mind. But again, I did that mistake of not booking the exam. I did not book it. And because of my office commitment, because of some other commitments, I keep postponing it. So that is the reason I took 5 months. But in January, I decided I need to give this exam, January or February. I decided I need to give this exam, and within 2 months, I gave the exam.
All right. And when you book the exam, you know that, okay, I booked the exam on this particular date, I'm giving the exam. Did any point of a time, were there any thoughts like, oh my God, I could have just delayed my exam a bit more, because I'm in that position. I booked my exam, right? I did my domain 1. I was a happy girl because domain 1 I did practically well. I went to Santosh. I was like, look at this in Santosh. I got pretty good marks in domain 1. So please let me
Right.
book my exam. Let me have a voucher. And I was so happy. Then came domain 2.
Right.
Trickier one. Now I thought, oh, did I take an early decision? Then came domain 3, which has a lot of technical stuff. And then I was like, Santosh, did I take an early decision? So now, it's like, okay, I'm just preparing myself. Listen, you have to give an exam this particular date. So did you also went through this thing?
To start with, yes. To start with, same. I was getting good marks in domain 1 and domain 2 started and my marks were going up and down. And then I spoke to Santosh again, like you did, that Santosh, this is what is happening. He said, it's okay. Just believe in yourself. Keep going. And to start with, I thought of, have I given myself less of the time? But more I prepared, more I felt confident I wanted to give exam. So there was a time when only 1 month was left in the exam. And I didn't want to postpone it at all. I was every day I was eagerly waiting for the exam date. And one more thing, Namita, I would like to add here that till the last day, till the last morning, I never felt I was prepared. I was thinking I'm forgetting the important concepts. Oh, that I don't remember that. I don't remember what was 𝗖𝗵𝗺𝗶, what was 𝗖𝗵𝗺. Okay, I'm forgetting about. I was forgetting simple formulas of probability, and and I was forgetting all about risk management. I'm thinking, what is happening with me? And then again, I reached out to Santosh. I said, Santosh, this is what is happening with me. He said, it's absolutely normal. Just believe in your practice. Last few days, at least last 1 month, fortunately, I was able to give a lot of time. I spent somewhere around 7 to 8 hours a day, and that helped a lot. Yes.
Right. Last question. Sorry, Jay, 1 minute. Last question, Nitin. When you were practicing those QAE questions, domain wise, and when you gave the actual exam, did you find that they were based on the same concepts, or they were picked and chosen from there? Something like, okay, you can find, oh, I did this question. That was the same question. So is it like that, or no? It's just a conceptual knowledge which was again verified during the CISM exam, what you have learned when QE practicing?
So most of it were, I would say, different questions. I don't remember a question I did and which came in the exam. And but what helped me a lot is going through all the manual questions, plus getting additional questions from Santosh. So he has a website. I actually requested him. I wanted to have those questions, and they were awesome, and they were the questions bang on. Based on those questions, I was able to relate to the pattern of the questions I was getting in the exams. So those were the most important questions I had.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nitin, Jay here.
Hi, Jay.
Hey, Nitin, first of all, congratulations and thanks for taking this session. Definitely, it would be helpful for us. My question directly, one simple question. Actually, in the questions, the keywords are used, right? Most, primarily, at least, okay, best. So how do you tackle those actually? No, because those are the questions are really, I mean, it makes a difference, okay, in the answer actually.
Yes.
And where the most of the people are getting failed. That's no. Yeah.
Right. So the very simple solution for Jay is practice. Once you will practice these questions time and again and again and again, these concepts will get into your mind. Santosh gave us, I'm sure, he will give in he would have given in other trainings as well. He gave us a formula that, finish your exam in half of the time, and then flag all the questions which you are not able to, understand right now. Give the time, you will have enough time later to go through them. So that is one. And coming back to your question, talking about the keywords and all that, this is all practice. The more you practice, it will get into your system. And once you have practiced 1,000 questions, 800, 900,000 questions, your mind will go into auto mode. You will automatically start thinking about it. Now, I'm assuming that people who are not able to clear and have this problem, they have not practiced enough. So practice as many questions, as much possible. Out of the exam manual and the questions given by Santosh, I actually went ahead and attempted all those questions again from the chapter, from the domain 1, domain 2, domain 3. I actually did all the questions twice. So because I was doing chapter 1 questions, then 2, 3, 4, then I would again go back to 1, right? By that time, I would have forgotten almost all the questions of 1, not the answer, not the concept, but the questions. Then those were new questions for me, but my pattern would have got set and I was able to attempt them in a better way. I hope I have answered you, Jay.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Nitin, I'm Ramachandran.
Yes, Ramachandran.
Two questions. Like, see, in the question answer case, there are explanations or questions whether we need to check the explanations. That is one thing. And second thing, what you told, I heard is that, see, we are also trying that some Gemini or ChatGPT, etc. But the answers it is giving also, I didn't think that it is wrong. But you tell that is sometimes it is wrong answers. So whether that practice is not good, you are telling. So that are the two questions.
Sorry, I think there was some snag. I missed your first question, but I'll answer your second question and then we can go back to the first question here also.
Okay.
So what I was talking about the AI is that if you are trying to get answers from AI, Gemini or ChatGPT or any other, so those answers might be different, and not only AI. If you go to any other question bank provided by any other faculty, any other institute, any other book, those answers might be different, right? It is the way how you attempt. This is what happens in CISM exams. But what you can use AI for is to understand the question. So I used AI. I used ChatGPT to understand what question is. Now CISM is not only about your technical knowledge or your governance, risk, compliance knowledge. It tests you for the English also. Now, our English I'm sure all of ours English is fine, but still the way it phrases the questions, that becomes very tricky. So you can ask the ChatGPT or any other AI that this is the question, explain this question to me. So this is where I used ChatGPT. One more thing is that I use ChatGPT to understand the concept. Sometimes I don't have time to go back to the video. It's a very small concept. I want to understand this small thing. I want to understand role-based access. I will tell ChatGPT, explain role-based access to me. So concept will remain same, but question answer becomes a challenge. So yes, please be confined to the CISM manual questions and as well as the questions provided by Santosh. And we can go back to your first question, Ramachandran. Yes.
First question is like, when we are attempting the question, there are some wrong answers as well as right answers. So whether we need to check all the 1,000 questions whether it is true or wrong, or only the wrong answers only we need to check the explanations. What was your strategy? All the 100 questions explanations you have gone through, only the wrong answers which you have made only you have gone through?
No, absolutely. This is very, very important to understand if the option is wrong, why it is wrong. Because in exam you will get questions wherein some of the options are very similar. Then it becomes a challenge. Now to eliminate, sometimes you need to eliminate the wrong answers first, and then you will be left with two answers which are very, very similar. And then you can apply your concept or your knowledge that why I should choose A and not B, though both of them would look very similar. So it is very important to understand why the option is right, as well as why all the rest of the three options are wrong. So you should be able to say, okay, option A is right, but why B, C, and D will not work in this particular scenario? This is very important.
No, Nitin, my question is not like this. For example, 1,000 questions in the total 4 domains, we have actually some 300 wrong answers. Okay, some 700, 600 something, my answers were right. So what I am asking is whether this 300 wrong answers explanations only I have to check in, or all the 1,000 questions, whether it is right or wrong, I need to go through the complete explanations of each options.
So explanation given where?
1,000 questions, in all the questions there are explanations given, right? For each question
Yes,
they are
yes.
given. So whether we need to go through all the 1,000 questions, whether my answer is right or wrong, whether I need to go through completely, or only where questions
Yes.
where my yes. Okay.
No, it is
So means-
advisable to go through all, because what happens is that the same question will not come in the exam. The question will be changed. And then since if you will understand that's what I said, the understanding the wrong answers is very important. So you have done 700 right answers, attempted rightly. You need to understand the wrong options as well very well in that.
Okay. Thank you. Also, last question. The 1,000 questions already Santosh given. So another 300 also we can buy. So is it advisable
Very
to?
important.
That is also we need to buy. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. They are the gems. Believe me, 1,000 questions which he has given is from the manual, but the 300 questions which he had given to me were, or which I'm sure he's giving to everyone is, they are purposely curated for to prepare you for the exam. But to start with, go through all the 1,000 questions. Once you have done that, you may request him and then go through those questions as well. But yes, these questions are very important.
Okay. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Nitin.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah. This is Ladi from Nigeria. Congratulations once again, and thank you for sharing your experience. I typed a question on the note, but I guess you didn't see it. So my question is, did your experience assist you in the exams? Your practical experience in workplace, did you have any impact during your exam? That is one. Then two, during the exam, I mean, how were you able to, focus on those, the atmosphere? How were you able to contain, that anxiety? I mean, if I'm writing it now, I know there will be so much going on within my head in terms of trying to pass the exams, and I don't want to be distracted. How will you be able to, do that and overcome such anxiety? Thank you.
Okay, so I'm guessing that you've already given you have already attended the training, Santosh's training. So the good part which I followed was I followed his advice to the T. So he mentioned what needs to be done, what you should not do in the exam. So my focus was, first of all, I had to sit for 4 hours, and it was absolutely fine because at my place while I was preparing, I was sitting for 7 to 8 hours. So I thought sitting for 4 hours in the exam focusing would be difficult, but it was not. I was habitual. I was preparing for 7, 8 hours. It was like cream. And secondly, he had given our batch a process that finish your questions and attempt all the answers within the first half. Take a 5 minutes, 10 minutes break. Come back. Start working on the flag questions. So that worked like a charm. Of course, all these centers, the atmosphere usually is very quiet and comfortable and all that. The one thing which I was not prepared for is that I thought I'll be able to take in my pen and a plain sheet of paper to write on. I'm a person who likes to write. I was not allowed. And I was properly searched. Even after coming from the break, I was properly searched. So that is one thing which was not there. Otherwise, it was very focused environment and very conducive for giving the exam. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nadi.
All right. If there are no further questions, maybe I'll move on next with my experience. Is that fine?
Yeah, one more question from my side, so happy. This is
Yeah,
Bhavdharini. Yeah, a quick question. Like, how many times do you suggest us to practice the ISACA question bank? Like, like if I score 70% in my first attempt, like in all domains, how many times like is it okay to practice the question bank and move further to the 300 questions?
I think at least 2 times.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. This is what I did. I practiced 2 times, and then I went to 300 questions. And then after that, I was selectively picking chapters and domains and topics to understand my understanding of it.
Okay. How much did you score in your first attempt, Nathan? Just
In my first attempt, I was scoring, yes, somewhere around 72%, and I was worried.
okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Okay. So I'll quickly move on. I took my exam last month, that is February. I had taken Santosh's training in the month of December. So I decided to actually take up CISM last year. And as Nitin mentioned, I was just like playing it slow. I went through Mike Chappell's, entire coursework, very briefly, just to understand what the content of the exam is going to be, what the topics are, etc. But not very serious. Only after I started with Santosh's training, that's when I got serious. I attended, I think, 3 sessions, after which I was quite confident that the trainer is really good, and the confidence that he had in his content and the questions, etc. I felt like I'm in a safe space and I can now go ahead and book the exam. So in the month of December, I booked the exam for 7th of February. And then I started chalking myself, backwards from there as to how many days we have and how many domains are there, what kind of questions are there. From a preparation perspective, I have gone through, so I attended the live training. After that, I've gone through the videos once again, which was like quite closer to the exam. So mid onwards, I started going through the videos all over again. I gave the 1,000 questions in parallel to the trainings, domain by domain. I started giving those, exams, which was covering every domain, and the questions were solved. I was scoring somewhere around 65 to 75, that range. So domain 1 was very, very high, and good scores on that. And then slowly with 2, 3, and 4, it started dropping. But I think it was going on okay. Santosh kept on motivating that it's all fine. So please go ahead and do it. One very important thing I used to do is whatever were the wrong, whatever questions I've solved wrongly, I would go ahead and look at all the options and why each option is wrong. So kindly go through like every option and look at how 𝗖𝗂𝗏 is thinking and what is the approach towards solving that question. So don't just see that, okay, this answer is wrong, I will by heart what the right answer is and go ahead. Please don't do that. Go ahead and look at each option. There is a good explanation given below every question as to why that option is wrong or right. So very well go through that explanation, I would say. Now, after going over all these 1,000 questions, I solved the second time. I just solved the wrong answers. Like I did not go over all the 1,000 questions once again. I had made a note of which questions I've solved wrongly. And then when I did a second round of those questions, I only went through the wrong ones with the options again. And, like as Nitin also mentioned, you would, forget the concepts, you would forget the questions very easily. So it's not a surprise that in the first go, if you thought that, this was a wrong, question, the second attempt also you will make the same mistake. So it's very important to go through it twice, bare minimum. So that was the second thing. Now, closer to the exams, I also refer to the mind map. Somebody was asking on chat how important it is. It is important. I felt that it is a good summarization of whatever Santosh has covered. So I did it in the last 2 days. Like I just went through and I was like kind of, in my mind, I knew that at least I have gone through the entire content by means of this mind map. I also purchased the 300 questions from Santosh after I completed 2 rounds of the 1,000 questions. So I practiced that 1 week prior to the exam. It was just additional practice. And, having said that, nothing is going to be repeated. I would say barely 5% in my case was kind of a repetition, some direct questions, some which were similar to what we have solved. But the remaining were all concept based. So during the exam, all I was doing is I was remembering what Santosh has explained with regards to that concept. I was literally playing that concept in my mind. And then mapping the question to that concept and trying to find out what could be the right answer. And just before the exam, so on the exam day, I have ensured that I am reaching early, 45 minutes early, to take care of the anxiety and, all of those, things which could play on your mind. I did follow a tip that Santosh had given during the training, that you should complete your exam in the first 90 minutes. So that's what I was aiming to do. In the first 90 minutes or so, I completed all the 150 questions. I did not go in for a break. I just I was on my place. I just closed my eyes and then I started to redo the questions which I had made a note of, which I wasn't very sure. There were barely 35 questions, which I thought I will need a second pass. So I went through that again after I've completed the exam. Completed all the questions. And then I was kind of very cautious about any change of answers, because I would suggest the first gut feeling that you have, mostly that is really the right answer. So be very careful when you are rechecking and, kind of trying to change. Think it over 10 times that, do you really want to change the answer? So I did that with those 35 questions. And I finished the entire exam in like 3 hours. So I did not even need 4 hours. So don't worry about the time duration. I think it is more than sufficient with the training and the conditioning that Santosh has given with the timer, it is more than sufficient for you to think about every question and solve it. So yeah, I think those were the things that I have made a note of and I wanted to cover. For the technical part, right, I have not gone through any such manual or any major, videos, etc. The concepts like encryption and those things, firewalls, they were very much at a, high level understanding is what I had gathered through, Google or any other chat GPT and other videos. So did not go in depth on the technical aspects. There are barely 3 to 4 questions that would be coming in. And I applied elimination as the mechanism to get to the right answer. So I'll just stop here. Yep.
Hi, Swani, Sudarshan here. Thanks for sharing your insight and your experience. I just wanted to understand, because initially you said when you started the solve the question, you score nearly 65 to 75. But
Yes.
whenever you are closer to the exam, that time when you are scoring, attempt at the question, whether your score is nearly more than 80 or 90, or still is it less than that? Because what happened whenever I am attempting the question multiple time, I have seen that after completing all the module and back once again to the module 1, the score was not much more improved. So I
Okay.
just wanted to understand
Yeah.
your experience.
Yeah, so what I did is when I was doing the test for the second time, yes, my scores improved, I would say by around about 10%, not more. So I wasn't scoring like 95 up or something, even though I was doing it second time. So it was roughly in 80s, I would say, but it was definitely a jump up as compared to the previous one. And for some of the modules, I did not even find time to go over all the questions once again. So like I said, I only went through the wrong ones and, kind of looking at why it was wrong and why the other options, what was the concept behind the other options not being the right answer. So I actually did not have much time. And also to, mention one more fact, I blocked the exam for 7th Feb. And like Nitin, not everything was like, going as per plan. I had some issues at home, because of which I also delayed the exam by 2 weeks, because on the 7th, I wasn't very prepared and I wasn't sure whether I should be going ahead with it. There was a lot of stress. So there's an option to go ahead and, even postpone it. But I made sure that I shouldn't be postponing it by too long, because I was, because it was happening that we were forgetting concepts. While we were studying one domain, the previous domain concepts were getting vanished very soon. So I ensure that even if I'm postponing, it's not by a very large period. Sudarshan, does that answer? So definitely there should be an improvement by 10% bare minimum, if not more.
Yeah, thanks, Swani.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay,
Hi,
can I go ahead
Suhani.
next?
Here.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So you were mentioning that the questions were conceptual, right? So
Yes.
when you look at the practice questions, right, it's more or less the questions are very simpler, and it is very short also.
But considering the real exam, whether it will be a direct question or you will be given a scenario out of which we have to come up with or to choose the right answer. Will it be like that, or how is that so?
Yeah, so there were a few direct questions, like, directly from theory, but there were very few. Most of them were scenario based. But I noticed that they were not very lengthy. Like, I did not have a lot of questions which were like 4 to 5 lines, where I would take some time understanding the whole thing. They were like pretty short, 2 lines or 2.5 line questions. But definitely you will have to think about the concept, apply that concept, and then only you'll be able to answer. And there were multiple situations where I obviously would have known by now that there is always a situation where 2 answers seem to be absolutely correct. So it's the fight between which one of those 2 is correct, because the other 2 you can easily eliminate, but which one of those 2 are correct is what the challenge is.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No worries, Sangeeta. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Honey, do I go next, and then we can take the questions towards the end? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shobna. So, you have heard 2 success stories back to back. Can I? The other Shobna, can you just mute yourself?
Mute yourself.
All of you have heard 2 back-to-back success stories. So mine is little different. I had appeared for CISM exam once, and then I did not clear the exam. Then I went ahead and gave the exam the next time. I'll just start with the reason why I did not clear the first exam was I was not very serious about it, and I had done the training in the month of October 23, and I did not give the exam till May 24. So because I delayed, so it was the reason for the failure in the first attempt. And in the second time, I requested Santosh. Immediately when I did not clear the exam, I had contacted Santosh how to go about it. So Santosh I requested him to allow me for another class if I can attend it. So he allowed me, and I went through that class, and then immediately within 30 days I had attempted the exam, and I could clear that. So most of the things have been covered by Suhani and Nitin. I will just divide it into 3 parts. First, the preparation part. All of you are already you have done the recording from Santosh. That is the most important recordings in the classes, live classes of Santosh. And if you have done the manual questions alongside with Santosh training, well and good. And you must have got some scores. If you have done, well and good. If you have not done and you have finished the training, start fresh. Like if you do domain 1, I'll go domain wise. How did I prepare? For example, for domain 1, first thing which I did was I saw Santosh recording. Once the recording was done, I did mind map. After mind map, I did manual questions. After manual questions, I used to see the score. What is the score? After that, I shifted to the next domain. And then same I followed with every domain. Second part of the preparation is once you're done with all the domains, I don't think that once you're done with all the 1,000 questions, how many times you have to do it, that is not important. How qualitatively you're doing it, that is more important. So if you have done the manual questions, 1,000 manual questions twice, that's more than enough, because after that you will start memorizing the answers, so real output is not going to come. So like if first domain you have done, you've seen that out of there are 175 questions in first domain. So out of 175 questions, 20 questions are the questions which I'm getting wrong. So after you've done the manual twice, in the third cycle, follow only those 20 questions. Rest you need not bother, because based on your concept that is already cleared. Follow the same for second domain, third domain and fourth domain. Please remember domain number 2 and 3 are very important. So the percentages that you're scoring, the number of questions are also more. Have a buddy, have a study partner with yourself, so that they can keep boosting you that how much questions you have done today. And don't think that domain आज मैं बैठी हूँ, मैं domain 3 के सारे questions कर दूँगी. You will get exhausted. So make it a point कि okay 150 आज कर ले 150, because there are 380 questions. So एक बार में probably you will not have time with your office work.
You will really not have time to really manage things. So divide it and make it a point that towards the night, at least exam say 1 week pehle, to definitely what Nitin is saying, telling you 7 to 8 hours have to be put in. Before that, at least make it a point that 2 hours every day you are doing and investing in this preparation. Otherwise, towards the end, it becomes a lot of things. Question bank, Santosh video, mind mapping, everything becomes a lot of things. So just segregate and do accordingly. And during the exam, remain extremely calm. The question, the attempt, Santosh would have taken the last session where he's actually explained how to go about with the number of minutes. How do you go about it? So just follow it blindly. That's it from my side. Any questions, you can just drop it.
Yes, Shobana, thank you, and congratulations once again, and thank you for sharing your experience. So my question is, what's the percentage of similarity between your first attempt and the second attempt on the questions? Did you come across similar questions that helped you in the, passing the exams? That's just my question.
Yes. Hi, Ladi. Thanks for the question. There was no similarity between the questions in the first attempt. To be very frank, first attempt and I didn't remember also ki questions kya aaye the. But yes, I am telling you the 300 questions which Santosh has, 1,000 rupees question bank. Usme se questions were there in the first attempt also. The questions were there in the second attempt also. So those 300 questions are really important, and don't attempt those 300 questions like, okay, if I have scored 80% or 90%, it's good enough. Do those questions till the time you don't get 100% in each of the domains in those 300 questions. It is very important because definitely you will get questions. I personally got 10 questions in the second attempt from the 300 questions. So that is it. The questions between both the attempts were not repeated. They were very different. So, but a question from 300 attempts, 300 questions definitely came.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, hi Shobna. First of all, congratulations on passing your exam. My question is like, even I recently did a CISM, but I unfortunately I failed the first attempt. So I started again studying for my second attempt. So I wanted to know, like you mentioned regarding like mind mapping, is it like something we have to do by our own? And if yeah, I'm also hearing like the Santosh recording as well now. I've started it. So what do you suggest? Also, like I regarding the course, what I felt like, especially the area which I don't have experience, like incident management and information security program development. I think most of the marks I lost there, I felt during this course which I got. So for my second attempt, what should I focus on more, like last two domains, or should I also like focus on other areas like risk management and also the first domain? What do you suggest?
Okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yes. So Umesh, just don't worry. First of all, you know where you're lacking. So that is very clear from the scores. So I'm not sure first and second domain how much you have scored, but for the next attempt, you will have to definitely have to concentrate more on third and fourth. First and second also, because right now what I've seen in what I've discussed with my fellow batchmates, a lot of questions from risk and incident are coming. So that means domain 2 and 4 are important. So you will have to give weightage to all the domains. Definitely right now, start off with 3 and 4, finish off with 3 and 4, and towards the end you can do 1 and 2 because you're already clear and things are better for you. So like what I followed for each domain in my second attempt was I watched Santosh's video. I did 1,000 questions from the manual. I did 300 questions from the simulator. And towards the end, I did the mind map of that particular domain. Because once I've done the questions and then when I used to go back to mind map, I knew where I have to really make the focus on, which is the part where the questions are being asked from.
Okay. So mind map, did you prepare by yourself or?
The Santosh mind map which he has shared. So for all of you, I would just suggest take a hard copy of the mind map. It really helps because soft copy, not all the time you can go back and refer. Just 1 hour before the exam also, if you have the hard copy, you can just go back and refer. So it really helps.
Okay.
I had taken
I
a
have
printout of all the mind maps. Yeah.
Okay, because then I have to check it from the student kit. If
Yes,
Santosh
yes.
have
In the
already.
in the student kits, you have mind maps for all the domains.
Okay, okay, great. I will have a look on it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
thank you,
anything,
Ankit.
so Umesh, any other thing, if you feel you need to get back to me, please do get back to me.
Yeah. Also, one more thing, like during examination, I noticed like there are questions like like for example, primary or main goals and
Yeah.
objective, or primary goals and objective.
Primary,
What?
main,
Yeah.
yes.
So what do you think?
First,
Like, does it goes with most of the time with the business or with the core goal function of the? For example, incident management. So core goal is, or primary goal or objective is to make business running or to respond incident in a faster way. What? Yeah, this kind of things are like very confusing. And what are your
correct.
thoughts on it? Yeah.
Yeah. So the three words that we have: primary, most, and first. These are the three words which generally come. So
Correct.
I would just give it a tip. I'm so sure Santosh video you have gone through. There is one video of Prab which is there, which actually explains this. How do you have to differentiate between primary, first, and most? So it had helped me a little. So if you can just go on YouTube and just type in that Prab Nair
Yeah.
video,
Nice video.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that had helped me to actually differentiate between these three keywords.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Shobna,
Yeah,
once again. Yeah.
same here. Bye.
Hi,
Thank you. Bye
Shobna.
bye.
Hi,
Bye.
Shobna. This is Sridhar
Hi,
here.
Shweta. Yes, hi,
So,
Shweta.
yeah, thank you. I have a couple of questions. First question is that most of us, we were actually referring to 1,000 questions plus 300 questions, right? So, all this, see, this 1,000 plus 300 questions, are these updated? Because while actually going for the exam, we go through the videos and understand the concepts, make a notes, mind maps, everything. And later on, we try to check for each and every chapter where we are standing, correct? And then move forward to the next chapter. That's how we go on. But my point, the question what I have is, are these 1,000 plus 300 questions getting updated, or is it only just to check ourselves where do we stand?
So these questions are just letting you align your concept in a question answer form. That's it. None of the questions will actually 300 questions. I'm not sure if Santosh has updated the question bank, because last year what I have gone through, so that from that the questions had come in my CISM exam also. These 1,000 questions definitely have not been updated, because CISM manual has not been updated, so question and answers manual has also not been updated. So what they can really help you with is, okay, fine, this is the topic, this is the concept, how can you apply the and see,
Okay.
if you start doing the manual again and again, you'll memorize the questions.
Okay.
So it would really not help you. So focus more on concept, which Santosh has always been emphasizing on.
Meaning, the takeaway for me is that, okay, once after we complete each and every chapter and check where do we stand, so it gives us a conceptual score, whether we can actually proceed further, or again go and cross check where are the mistakes that you have done. Got it. And
That's correct. That's correct.
question number two, and the last one is, primarily, this is a time related thing. Say, you might have seen some scenario based questions or very lengthy questions, which takes almost 1 or 2 minutes or more to go through and try to come to a conclusion which is the right answer. So these kind of questions, I think, might actually be around 20-25 or so. So how do we have as and when we see the bigger questions, do we have to flag them and move on, and in the last moment try to answer them, or how do we go about it? Just the
Okay,
strategy part.
yeah. Since I've given the exam twice, I would just let you know. In the first attempt when I was giving, I was actually so much in hurry कि मुझे 150 questions खत्म करने ही हैं in 150 minutes, in first 2 hours. So please remember, CISM exam, the time is not your enemy. You have time. So don't be after, and if you will not, I have given PMP just after CISM. I found CISM questions better because there are no lengthy scenario based questions at all. Maximum in fact maximum 2.5 line का question होगा, उससे ज्यादा बड़ा question होता ही नहीं है.
Got it. Thank you so much. And if you have one more minute, so see, one thing which actually comes in between while answering the question is we are experienced in governance, risk and compliance for quite long time. But when we are answering it, so we are, I personally try to go back and see what I have done in my organization as a manager or a senior manager. And when I answer them, it usually sometimes the answer is correct, or sometimes the answer goes wrong. So how do you actually suggest when going for the exam? How do we have to think? Meaning, leave all the concepts and only read through the CISM manual and then go.
So Santosh has been mentioning this unlearn and learn. So don't follow what you're doing in your organization, because organizations are actually not following what 𝗖𝗂𝗏 really wants. What 𝗖𝗂𝗏 wants is given in their manual. If you have time to go through the manual, well and good. If you're not going through the manual, that is perfectly fine. What Santosh covers 100% of the manual. So just whatever concept he's covering in his classes and the mind maps you all have to go through, because there are few things which is not there in the recordings, but they're there in the mind maps. So just don't follow what is being done in organization, because what is being done in my organization is actually not being it is not as per 𝗖𝗂𝗏. 𝗖𝗂𝗏 wants us to answer the 𝗖𝗂𝗏 way. So please follow
Thank you so
𝗖𝗂𝗏.
much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I think Mirza would like to go next, and then we can have questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobna. Hi,
Welcome.
everyone. So let's talk about my journey first, and then we will talk about your questions. We can take it. So I have decided in last November that I will go for a CISM. And by research and by talking to some of my friends, I get to know about Santosh training. Then so first of week of the training around around November, I have started training with Santosh. Then I have cleared my exam in 5th of January. Yes. So within 2 months of starting from training and achieving the exam, that was my 2 months of journey. But that journey is fully focused on the study, making my thought process how I can achieve it, aligning my thought process with 𝗖𝗂𝗏's thought process. That is very important. So training along with 1,000 questions and then 300 questions and mind maps. Fourth thing is the important key to achieve the exam. So as we know, the first week of training, if we are taking on a weekend, so it will be of domain 1. So when your domain 1 is completed, go for attempting the 1,000 questions. So I mean 200 questions from those 1,000 questions will be from domain 1. So attempt that. Whatever your score is, whatever the wrong answers you have, you go once again to those wrong answers. Again attempt those 200 questions. Your score will increase, your percentage of achieving that will increase, and your confidence will be boosted. Again, when you study, and please attend the live, try to attend the live trainings, try to attend, have a question and answers on live training, because recorded sessions maybe sometime you will not get that much of sense of that. So however, recorded sessions will help. So second domain, third domain, repeat from those 1,000 questions, attempt the part when you complete the domains of those questions, attempt those questions. Whatever wrong you have done, think why it was wrong. Second thing about is, there are, from our past experience on information security, there are past experience of our IT, of our projects, so that may be a differ from 𝗖𝗂𝗏's thought process. So your information security managing risk thought process should be aligned with 𝗖𝗂𝗏's thought process. That is the ideal, say, nature of information security. You have to align with that, because the questions and answers will be from that thought process which Isaka wants, not you have from your last experiences. That is an important part, right? Yeah. So third, when you achieve these 1,000 questions, when you are going to repeatedly work on those questions, as are my last three CISM batchmates have said, then purchase it 300 questions, because those 300 questions is will give you a preparation pattern of how you are going to attempt on your exam similar to that. So that link will open. There will be a time which will measure that in how many times you have attempted this domain, and that will give you a wrong answer. So again, so that is why that 300 questions are important. Mind maps before going to the exam, a week before, start with the mind maps. Go check what. So mind maps is nothing but a check on your mind that whatever you have learned in training is still being your, you have learned as you, so it is still been your mind. That is what mind map is for, right? uh Confidence in yourself, make confidence will come by regularly studying. So along with training, study 1 hour, 2 hour, how much you can focus apart from your work, family, and social life. So take your time, good time from that. So confidence will come when you study, when you achieve good marks in practice questions, when you have a good understanding of each of the domains. So understanding each domain, living that domain with your mind, have a risk approach on this is very important. Uh, and so I got a confidence after having those 1,000 questions. So my training was completed in mid of December, and I have booked my exam 5th of January. And firstly, I was very anxious, feeling anxiety, but a day a thought came in exam in my mind that chill, what, it is an exam only, it will not take your whole life, you can reattempt, but go for exam, so that the past learnings we have, which is very much we have from the last 3 or 2 months from the training, is important. Otherwise we will slowly it will go away, that learnings. So that is very important. So that's how was my journey. And you have do's and don'ts from the student kit. Santosh training is very important. You the student kit which you get from him, as you have to go through each of the kit things, you can go to it. There is a do's and don'ts of a file for that, a page for that he had prepared. Go through that. There are do's that these things you should do. There are don'ts. And as Santosh and I still remember, told us in our last session of that training that have a fun before going to the exam last. So I had my fun was, he told to what his fun was watching a movie. My fun was having a long drive. So I had a long drive before going to exam. My mind was chill at exam time also, that if I am not going to clear, don't, I am not worry, I have a good understanding of from my training. I have already upgraded myself from what I was in October and what I was in January. So that is a main thing. So within 2 weeks I had given my exam, and those moments were special. I have enjoyed, and I had again fun for that day also. So that's how my one. Anything you guys want to ask, please raise your questions. I will also drop my mail. You can also ask from 𝗂𝗂𝗃 that if you want. Anytime apart from this session also, we can connect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Hasim. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the fruitful discussion. And because of you all, it made it's very productive and engaging. So the session would be recorded, and I'll be providing the recordings to you very soon. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the WhatsApp groups that you are already a part of it.
Can
And
I ask one question to either
yeah,
Shobana
please,
or
please.
Shobana? So I think you all told first you done the videos and the first attempt at the domain one, and then after that first round, then again we have gone through the videos and mind maps, and again, so absolutely will be due to the memory we'll score more on the second round, and we'll score, so that questions will be by heart in our mind and it will be scoring. Now my question is that, so all told that the additional 300 questions is worth buying. So my genuine ask is that if the first part round we have done for 1,000 questions, second round after videos and mind maps also we have done again 1,000, and that will give more score because the questions and answers somewhat we will be having by hearting. The additional 300 will be entirely new one. That's a exam simulator one. So according to your suggestion, how much minimum we should score in the additional 300 questions, so that it will be give a confidence that okay, I can go for the exam. So I am also studying that way. I also wanted to purchase that additional 300 questions. So in that 300 questions, how much should be the minimum I should get it, so that okay, it's a confidence that I can register for the exam. How much you have scored, and what is the suggestion from you all, or Shobana or Hasim?
I think from 75 to 80% is good to have a confidence in, make you confident. So if
For
you
the
are
addition,
scoring 80%, 75%, I
it's
think
good.
you can book an exam.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that means the additional 300 questions, at least we should be able to score 75 to 80.
See, if in the
And
first
so,
attempt of additional 300 questions also, if you're not achieving 75, don't worry, go for second attempt of that domain, right? In
okay,
second domain, in third attempt after attempt, you will have a 80%, 85%, maybe a 90%. So that confidence is required by attempting the questions again and again. If you're so in the first attempt, maybe 60%, but definitely after you realize your whatever questions was wrong, and practices on that, and then you're going to attempt that second time, then you will get surely you get a 80%.
so that is my question. So first 1,000 anyway we will score the second round, and again the additional 300, even though we are scoring 70 or near 70 also, in the second time after go through the explanations we will score more. So
Yeah.
in that way we are scoring is also good. We can try for
Yes,
the
it's
exam.
also good. And in practice questions, of 1,000 questions also, and 300 questions also, I got more than 70. And I think in third domain, I got 16 first attempt of each of the, even in 1,000 questions or 300 questions. So it's again I have limited by realizing my mistakes. Then I, that will be a second. That's how
So
we can.
there should be no thing that okay, the additional 300 questions you are scoring less than 70, then you are not ready for the exam. It's not like that, right?
It is not like that. It is not like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So I have one question. The additional 300 questions are also split domain wise, is it? I've not
Yes.
purchased it as yet.
Yeah. It's nice. So as whatever 17% of questions comes in domain, right? For example, in the exam, right? So like this only then those 300 questions are divided. So from those 300 questions, 70% from domain one. And, uh, that's how we follow. For example, 20% from risk management, and then from third domain, 33%, 30%. Same
Okay.
domain is divided.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question from the operations team of MOS. Are you there? Hello? Somebody from, somebody from the operations team is there, no?
Yeah, Kushy is there. She's
Kushi,
on
are you
mute.
there?
She's
Yeah. If you're speaking, you're on mute. Can you just unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Kushi, to what I got was, please make me help what I got was right. There's one simulation test which is a part of your course, and there is a 300 additional questions which is on the payment basis. Am I correct about it?
See, 300 questions which are there, I must have already shared the link for it. It's on the payment basis, of course. But the
Right.
simulation test, I need to check with Santosh if it is available and how it is. So give me some time. I'll just check with him how it is. And for the 300 questions, I'll reshare the link if you would need it.
That please go ahead, do that. But I remember I checked this in the last session with Santosh, wherein I asked him that how many simulation test is going to be the part of the kit, and he said one. So and then if you want to buy, that's another on the payment basis. So if it is a part of the kit, then please let us know how we can access it, because I cannot see in my login credentials anything which has been added. So maybe you can check with him and let us know how to access that.
Got it. Sure. I'll just check with him.
Kushy, if I
simulation
can
questions.
this on this, can I
Sorry,
take
yeah.
this?
Yeah, please.
Namita, in a student kit, there is a let me also CISM Q&A, right?
Student kit mein, yeah, there is this Q&A.
Q&A, and there
Yeah.
is in that there is a folder named Q&A 10th edition, or depend on what kit has been shared to you. And in those there are those 1,000 questions. So I think Santosh always talks about that simulation test questions. If you and along with the training part, we also do some questions after our sessions or between our sessions. So yeah.
Okay. All right, because I remember I checked, maybe there was some communication gap. So let Kushi check and get back to us in the group. Kushi, please do that, because
So,
I remember there are a few people from my batch. Milan was there.
yes.
Right,
So,
Milan, you were there, no?
yeah, agree with Namita in this regard. So, we
Yeah.
have explicitly called out
Exactly.
simulation test and not about that PDF. And Santosh
Okay.
mentioned, yes, it will be given, but at the end of the class, not now. And so
Yeah, I remember her
That is
because
okay,
I was
guys.
the
I'll
one
just
to
check for the
ask.
simulation test on my
Ji.
own with Santosh where it is. And if it is available, I will share the link directly in the WhatsApp groups. So
Yeah.
meanwhile, I think Suhani has already shared the link of the 300 additional questions. So you can directly have a look on it from here. So for a simulation, give me some time till tomorrow. I'll confirm you all.
Done. Thank you.
No
Namita,
worries.
so to your question, I think in the Q&A folder, there are PPT-wise 4 domain cases
No,
of questions are there.
No, Ramchandra, I specially asked. He said, besides that, there's one simulation test, because I asked him how many tests
Yeah,
are
that's
there.
what I'm telling.
He said
That's what I'm telling.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling. In the after that 4 domain test, there is one more thing, that is a 150 questions. One thing is there that I have not checked. Whether that is a simulation one, no, I don't know. But there is, after this 4 domains question answer, one more 150 question, one folder, one file I have seen. So whether that is a real time simulator, I don't know.
It is in which folder, Ramachandran? We could see 4 domains question answers in the folder and one PDF which has all the domains questions.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's the entire book in the PDF form.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
I asked specially, said there's one test of 150 questions. I remember I asked simulation test. Milan was there. That was last when we have ended the session and there was a question and answer session. So that was my second last person to ask. And he said, yes, one test is there. Additional is on the payment basis. So I thought that's, it's going to be added in there. And since I couldn't make her, it is not being. And since 𝗂𝗓𝗓 was there, so I thought, let me ask 𝗂𝗓𝗓 and everybody will have a clarity on the same page.
Okay.
So it is not that 300 question is a simulation one,
Yes.
Namita?
Yes.
It is the complete
Exactly.
in a one file. Okay.
One test of 150 questions.
No. What about that 300 additional questions, right? It is not
That
a
is on a
simulation
payment
type, is it?
basis. That's on a payment basis. If you want to
but that's not a simulation, is it?
I mean that's the clarity which either 𝗂𝗓𝗓 would give us or Santosh would give us. Let 𝗂𝗓𝗓 talk to Santosh and get
Sure,
back
sure.
to us in the batch.
Okay.
No, I think 301 is also a simulation based, but
Right.
that is a payment basis.
Yeah,
And
that's a
the
payment
one,
basis.
yeah, Namita is telling. So we have discussed it during our class.
Yes.
That is a part of that kit, and Santosh said we will provide for practice, but that is the end of this our session. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we did ask. So I think let 𝗂𝗓𝗓 get back to us.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you. I would be leaving. I have to go somewhere. Thank you, Mirza. Thank you, team,
Thank
who
you
have
all.
already
Thank you.
cleared the CISM certificates and
Thank you.
took their time to help us out and clear our doubts. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.